Stop waiting to feel ready. You never will. Scene: person sitting at a desk staring at a blank screen. Late at night, dim lamplight, motionless. You've been waiting. Scene: calendar on a wall. Days crossed out one by one. Slow zoom in. Waiting for the right moment. Waiting until you have more money, more time, more confidence, more knowledge, more of whatever it is you feel you are missing right now. Scene: person looking out a rainy window, alone, thoughtful, still. Maybe you have been waiting for months, maybe years. Maybe you have been waiting so long that waiting has quietly become who you are. Scene: alarm clock going off. Hand reaches over and hits snooze, slow motion. Here is the hardest truth anyone will ever tell you. That feeling of readiness you are waiting for, it is never coming. Not because you are not capable, but because readiness is not something that arrives. It is something you create by starting, before you feel ready, especially before you feel ready. Scene: person standing at the edge of a cliff looking out at a vast open horizon, wide shot, golden light. And the people who changed their lives, every single one of them, started terrified. Scene: time lapse of a busy city street. People rushing past, life moving fast while one person stands still. There's a psychological phenomenon researchers call the readiness trap. It is a belief that before you take any meaningful action, you first need to feel completely prepared, completely confident, completely sure. Scene: person surrounded by stacks of books, notes everywhere, studying but never acting, overwhelmed expression. And so you read one more book, take one more course, do one more month of research. Tell yourself that once you know enough, once you feel enough, once you are enough, then you will start. Scene: hourglass with sand running out. Close up, slow and steady. But here is what the readiness trap does to you quietly, slowly, and visibly. It keeps you busy. It makes the waiting feel productive. You feel like you are preparing when you are actually hiding. And every day you wait, the dream gets a little heavier and a little further away. Scene: person looking at their reflection in a mirror. Older, tired, something lost in their eyes. The saddest words a person can say are not "I tried and failed." They are "I was going to. I was almost ready. I just needed a little more time." Scene: empty notepad with a pen beside it. Idea never written down, gathering dust. The world is full of almost, full of people who had the idea, had the talent, had the dream, and waited themselves right out of it. Scene: person tying their running shoes. Close-up of hands. Early morning light. About to begin. Let me tell you something nobody in any self-help book will say directly. Every person you admire, every entrepreneur, every artist, every athlete, every person who built something from nothing, started before they were ready. Scene: old grainy footage style. Person in a small garage working on something. Humble beginnings. Jeff Bezos started Amazon from a garage with no guarantee it would work. He was not ready. He was scared. He did it anyway. Sarah Blakely started Spanx with $5,000 and zero business experience. She was not ready. She did it anyway. Every single person you look up to has a version of that story. Scene: small seed being planted in dark soil, hands gently covering it, new beginning. Because here is what they understood that most people never do. Confidence does not come before action. It comes after. You do not feel brave and then jump. You jump and then feel brave. The courage is in the doing, not in the waiting. Scene: person taking their first step onto a long, empty road. From behind, sunrise ahead, full of possibility. Think about every skill you have right now. You were not ready when you learned to walk. You were not ready when you first rode a bike. You were not ready for your first job, your first relationship, your first real responsibility. And yet, here you are. You figured it out. Not before you started. Because you started. Scene: child learning to ride a bike. Falling, getting up, trying again, joyful determination. That is not inspiration. That is evidence. You have already proven to yourself that you can handle things you were not ready for. You have done it your entire life. Scene: person opening a laptop and beginning to type. Decisive, purposeful, first action. So, how do you break the waiting trap? Not with motivation. not with a perfectly planned strategy. You break it with one thing, the smallest possible action you can take today toward the thing you have been putting off. Scene: person writing in a journal. Single line, first word on a blank page. Not tomorrow, not Monday, not on the first of next month, when everything feels more aligned. Today, right now, after this video ends. Scene: phone screen showing a new contact being added. First outreach, first step. If you want to start a business, write down one idea today. Just one. If you want to get fit, do 10 minutes of movement today. Just 10. If you want to learn something new, watch one tutorial today. Just one. The size of the action does not matter. The fact that you took it does. Scene: domino pieces falling in a long chain. Slow motion. One triggers everything else. Because that one small action does something powerful. It breaks the identity of being someone who waits. And it starts building the identity of being someone who acts. And identity is everything. Once you see yourself as someone who starts, you start again, and again, and again, until one day you look back and cannot believe how much distance you have covered from that first terrifying step. Scene: person looking back at a long road they have already walked, vast distance covered, proud and strong. The mountain does not get smaller while you wait. It gets bigger. But the moment you start climbing, something changes. The fear does not disappear, but it moves. It stops living in front of you and starts living behind you. Scene: single person walking alone at dawn. Quiet street, soft light, one step at a time. You are not waiting because you are lazy. You are not waiting because you do not want it badly enough. You are waiting because starting is the scariest part. Because starting means it becomes real. And real things can fail. And failure is terrifying. Candle being lit in a dark room. Small flame. But it changes everything around it. But here is what is more terrifying than failure. Getting to the end of your life and realizing that the thing you were most afraid of was never failure. It was never even trying. It was choosing the safe, comfortable, familiar feeling of waiting over the uncertain, uncomfortable, extraordinary feeling of becoming. Person standing tall on a hilltop at sunrise, arms slightly open, facing the light. Free you do not need more time. You do not need more money. You do not need more confidence, more knowledge, or more of anything. You need one decision. Right now, today. Close-up of a person's eyes, determined, alive, awake. Something has shifted. Stop waiting to feel ready. You never will. And that is exactly why today is the day to start. Slow fade to black. Let's silence it for 3 full seconds before end card. End card. If this hit you, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe for a new story every week. Rise Within.